Hello there, happy Money Monday, and welcome to this week's video newsletter. How's this been going so far? I just started these a couple months ago. I made the decision earlier in the year, I think it was around February, to do these video newsletters, and just see how it goes. So I'm curious, on your end, how's this going? What do you think about these? How do you feel about them? If you watch them, if you don't, then you're not watching this anyway, so I don't really care about you, I guess. If you do watch these, what do you think? I'd love some, feedback, and what do you enjoy about them? What do you want to see more of? Do you have questions for me? Because this is really my off-the-cuff, being a real human, sharing what's going on in my world, sharing what's going on in my experience. So if you have, questions, go ahead and comment them below, and I would love to answer them, or you can reply to the weekly newsletter email, and I will reply to them. And that's another way I can utilize this time is live Q&A stuff. Ask me anything. I don't care. I'm an open book. So anyway, this week, a couple things. One is I finished reading The Alchemist last week, which I read every year. And if you watched from a few weeks ago, I always start in the spring. So it took me about a month to read. And this year we did a book club version of it, which was really fun because I mailed The Alchemist to all of my clients. And so I had a bunch of former clients join and a few other people join, which was awesome. And I always gained so much value from that book. So that was really great. And also I've been reading, let me get it. Hang on. Wait, I've been reading Think Yourself Rich, which I also mail to my clients. And it's really good. This is actually my second time reading it. I finished it and then I just started reading right through it again. It's by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And the way it's set up is there's just really short stories, and each one just kind of shifts your mindset and your perspective. And it's really about subconscious reprogramming and just shifting your money mindset. It's a little out there. It's a little woo. He's kind of religious, but also not that religious. I'm not a super religious person, so I just swap out the word God for the universe, and it totally works and totally applies. But that's just something that I like to read in the morning for a few minutes, and it gets my mindset in the right place of just oh yes, these are the thoughts and beliefs that I want to have about money. And so it's so easy to read. So anyway, that's what I'm currently reading and working on. And then the other thing that I'm noticing is I'm bringing a lot of awareness to, I guess, deep subconscious patterning of myself and how this is showing up for me. And I'm wondering, how can I recognize this and unwind this, is especially around weekends. Weekends and chilling, because the reality is that my identity is really, really tied to being a competent, productive person. And so and it has been for a very, very long time. So when I don't feel like I'm being competent or I'm being productive, it's internally conflicting for me. It creates internal conflict, and it doesn't leave me feeling good. And so this can be hard on weekends because I don't work on weekends, and I have never worked in my business on weekend. There were times where I waitressed on weekends, and I actually do teach a yoga class every other Saturday. So yes, that is work, but I do personal things like meal prepping and going to the grocery store and doing laundry. And this past Saturday, or no, it was yesterday, Sunday, I repotted a bunch of houseplants that had been on my list forever. So I got that done. So I do household things, but my problem is that if I'm not doing something productive, I feel uncomfortable. And I like doing things. So for example, when I'm meal prepping and when I'm grocery shopping and when I'm doing laundry, I feel accomplished. But it's hard for me when I have a day off, like a Saturday, and I do nothing. And when I say nothing, what I actually mean is, and I spend all day watching TV. Like, I feel so crappy when that is the case, because it's like watching TV just doesn't make me feel good after an extended period of time. And yet in my brain, that's like the easiest go-to form of relaxation. It's hard for me to pinpoint what are other things I could do or other ways I could spend my time that feel good, that nourish me, that feel like cup filling, but are also like not working and not being productive. So it's a little mind trippy, because I'm seeing that I actually really do enjoy being productive on my weekends, such as meal prepping and laundry. Even though those aren't necessarily fun tasks, I'm reminding my brain more and more like, oh, I enjoy doing this because it feels like I'm being productive and I enjoy productivity. And like, that's okay. But then I'm wondering, what else can I do for fun? Because the reality is that for a long time, I didn't really have a life. I still like don't really have that much of a life. I have more of a life than I used to, but like I in high school and college was a workaholic. All of my free time was working. I was either in school or I was working. And so it's actually deeply uncomfortable for me to be bored. It's very uncomfortable for me to be bored. And as a child, I hated being bored. And so I struggle with that now. And this is why when I'm in this discomfort of I'm not doing something productive, I'm just chilling, I don't want to be bored, and so I'm just going to like watch television. So I'm wanting to find what is this balance of what does my next chapter of relaxation look like, where I can watch TV without beating myself up and let that be okay. But also I want to find like a list of awesome other things that I could be doing and move myself to do those things, but they don't just have to be like productive or busy. They can also be fun. And what does that look like? I guess essentially I'm looking for some more hobbies. And I have a few, like I love yoga and I started like drawing for fun and I love going on walks and hikes. But sometimes it's just easier for me to default and watch the television. So anyway, this is something that I've been thinking about recently, is just like not just like, oh, how can I watch less TV, but it's looking at these foundational underlying patterns of who I am and how my identity is really caught up and tied into being productive, which is why I love being an entrepreneur and a business owner, and I love my business. And even though I don't want to be working all the time, and I do like taking breaks and having time off, like I enjoy working. and honestly, it's like it's a very productive patterning and identity to have, because it works really well in this society, right? Like there's a lot of people that would actually benefit from having this same patterning. But when I look at my vision of a very well-rounded life, I know that the gap for me is actually like, I love work. I'm good at that. It's chilling in ways that feel really good and aligned. That's actually more uncomfortable for me. And so that's what I'm working on. And I feel like this past weekend, I had a good balance of like, I'm doing productive things that feels good and isn't like working, but also I did relax and I did like watch TV, and that was good too. And so this is my next chapter of like, how do I keep doing this? And especially from the perspective of my badass entrepreneur future self who is living it up, who literally is working less and enjoying life more. Because the truth is like there's parts of me that really don't want that. Don't really want to work less, because I don't even know what I would do with that time without just making it feel like I'm doing something wrong. So now I get to utilize all the tools and practices that I teach my clients with myself, as I always do, to unwind like, what is this really about? And how can I reshape my identity to align with somebody that can just chill and let that be okay without making it mean something about me. And I have to go back to, I wrote a list a while ago of like, here's a bunch of things I could do instead of just default and watch television. I need to go back to that list and reflect and see, oh yeah, these are other things that I can do and other ways that I can spend my time. I'm curious for you, do you resonate with this at all? Do you not resonate with this at all? I know there's other people who are like, what are you talking about, Scarlett? Like, screw work. And what do you do in your free time, and how do you feel about the things that you do in your free time? I'm just genuinely curious. I would love to know. Go ahead and post in the comments below or reply to the newsletter email and let me know. But that is what I have for you this week. Thanks for tuning in. Again, go ahead and tell me like what you want to see in these, what would make them better, what would make them more fun, any questions you want me to answer. Have a great rest of your Money Monday, and I will see you next week.